Hey everybody, Tracy Brown here. Hope you're having a good day. So it's not my typical time to chat with you all, but that's what I had today. So hopefully you can catch it later if you didn't get to me this morning. So this week has been this nutrition talk around how do I do nutrition with nutrition and intuitive eating? How do I do nutrition and not go overboard? How do I know what's compulsive and what's not? And so today, a really brief little mini talk on when you have a diagnosis and you want to be an intuitive eater, but you also know you probably need to make some food changes. So of course, I cannot do any medical nutrition therapy here. I only do that with my individual clients because I know their individual circumstances. So what is one person's medicine is another person's poison. That's how it goes. That being said, though, if you have a diagnosis and you still want to be as inner-directed and non-compulsive and as free as you can with your eating, here's something you don't do, is that you do the most stringent option or variation of a quote-unquote remedies you possibly can. Don't do that. It's really, really tempting to, if you get a diagnosis, to want to, and I'm not even criticizing you for that. If you get a diagnosis and you've heard that like XYZ thing might help and it's extreme, but you're fearing for your life, I totally understand why you might do something like that. It makes sense. We are reacting. We're scared. We don't want something worse to happen. That being said, it's really, really important to go back to what is it that what is doable for whatever stage in recovery I am, and how is my body going to respond to the least restrictive thing first, if that makes sense. You don't go all out with the most strict way you can do things because, one, it may not be necessary. We never want to do more restrictions than we have to. And secondly, even if you need to do more restrictions, maybe you don't have to do it in the way that you think you have to do it. Or maybe you can do some gentler versions of that first. Or maybe you just need supplements and you have to make a lot of food changes. And again, I'm not saying that go buy $100 worth of pills per month. I'm not saying that. There are some people who need nutrient repletion from especially conditions that have been really chronic and depleting. You might need that. But start with the smallest, easiest thing you can do and work your way to the things that are harder. And believe me, you have to do a lot of grieving. If you've got a diagnosis and you need to change some stuff, there's some grieving. I've had 2 times in my life, but I would say one really, that I had to do some, food changes. I needed to really make, I had to add some supplements in there. I had one of those, I'll just say this, I had one of those conditions where nobody can really diagnose you with anything. But making 2 changes and one huge change with my lifestyle and how I lived in terms of my pace was the one thing that got me well again, So, all that being said, is that let's say you have diabetes. It's really, 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 or even insulin resistance, let's say, it's really tempting to let's go low carb. Let's do it. Come on. But you just got through a year of being really dedicated to intuitive eating, and you're just kind of putting some of those foods back in with less guilt, and then you're going to do keto or you're going to do low carb. You may not need to do that. You may need to just have an intake that's really varied and manage your stress more and find some movement you need. And over time, it's not going to be, that's what we do, is that we're something's going on, oh my goodness, let's fix it immediately, this very second yesterday. But it might not be sustainable, as we know. So it's way better to have really slow progress of something that's doable than and sustainable than something that's really hardcore. This may or may not work for me tomorrow. But then you find yourself just I'm just going to say this from my personal experience, binging your brains out because of the restrictions. You don't need to do that. Or it could be that you're already really restrictive and you're looking at labels and you're trying to find these very obscure ingredients that might be the possible allergen, let's say, and all you're doing is limiting and limiting and limiting yourself to where now you only have like 4 things you can eat, that's not going to heal. That's not going to bring healing. There's some deeper things that you need to look at if that's the case. And so I'm encouraging you all, is nutrition important? Yes. But the things we got to focus on, you have to be eating enough. You're not going to heal anything if you're in a calorie deficit. 2, body wisdom. 3, where have you just come from? And how vulnerable do you feel that if I made a really huge change, it would throw me really off track back into some like diet mentality disordered stuff. You gotta honor that. And 4, I think that we gotta look at our nervous system health. Like, how regulated are we? And if that's a struggle, we've got to put some energy into that, more so than even lots of food changes and tons of supplements. Just being really honest. And it doesn't mean that, like I say, let's say you have IBS and you know that like eating lots of broccoli just kills your stomach, then don't do it. You just can't. You just don't do it. Or if you know a certain kind of other product that you really love, like, it does cause you side effects. So you have to make that decision. Like, can I cut that back? Or do I have to get rid of it all? Like, what is there an amount that I can tolerate? Or is this more of a build-up issue and maybe I can only have it once a week or whatever? Maybe not at all for a while, and how can I grieve that or whatever? So again, I don't really recommend that you go your own on that. And you can. I mean, it just takes some time, but you don't have to. There's some people who can, people like me who can help you reduce your learning curve and get you on like a clear path. Not so much about like, here's your plan, but there's a level of like knowing how you're in your window of doing what you need to do and just orienting towards what is going good with what you're doing and keep going with that. And so that's my health tip, actually. That's my health and nutrition tip, is sometimes we do need to make some major changes, but it's not a match for what you can handle or tolerate yet. Sometimes you don't need to make a lot of huge changes with your food. Maybe it's something else that needs your attention, and maybe it's a little of both. But putting pressure on yourself to make radical changes overnight, that make things worse than it does better. So go into it with some slower thing down. Just slow things down as slow as you can have yourself go around, like, what do I really know? And, what is the least change I can make and still feel relatively stable in my life? And can I get some result from that and build upon that? So you notice I didn't give you individual nutrition instruction because I can't do that. I don't know you. I don't know the depth of what your struggle is, how long it's been going on, what are the other factors. And so, that's why I caution people around, where you get your information and how you apply your information. That's really important. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. Tomorrow I'll do a Q&A in the morning about, again, I can be a little more specific. If you show up live, I can help you a little bit more. So that's going to be kind of on you. I hope to see you then. It's 9 a.m. There'll be a recording, of course. I do have a question somebody, watcher gave me, so I'll be answering that question as well. But I would love to hear questions about nutrition, intuitive eating, how to marry the two so they can live happily ever after. So thank you so much for watching. If you think this was valuable information and support, please share it. And I appreciate all your support and watching. So take care, and I'll talk to you soon.